This is the real mystery of Baalbek, how these stones came to be there, why they were placed there, and specifically how they were transported into place.
Hidden in Lebanon's Beqaa Valley stands a site that should not exist in the form we see today. Travelers approach it through farmland and vineyards, a landscape that feels ordinary, almost peaceful. Then the ruins of Baalbek rise into view, and that sense of normalcy collapses. Roman columns soar into the sky, massive and imposing. Yet even these colossal structures are not the true anomaly. What matters lies beneath them. At the foundation of Baalbek are 3 stone blocks, known collectively as the Trilithon. Each block weighs approximately 800 tons. They are not rough boulders stacked by brute force. They are precisely cut, carefully aligned, and fitted together so tightly that no mortar was required and no gap is visible even today. These stones form the base platform upon which the Roman Temple of Jupiter was later constructed. And that fact alone presents an immediate problem. Roman engineers were among the most capable builders of the ancient world. They constructed aqueducts that still function, roads that still define modern Europe, and monumental buildings that remain standing after 2,000 years. Yet the largest stone blocks ever confirmed in Roman construction weigh roughly 50 tons. The stones at Baalbek are more than 16 times heavier. Nothing in Roman engineering records, tools, or techniques suggests an ability to move, position, and place blocks of this size with such precision. Half a kilometer away from the temple complex lies the quarry where these stones were cut. There, the mystery deepens. Several unfinished megaliths remain partially carved from the bedrock, abandoned where work suddenly stopped. One, long known as the Stone of the Pregnant Woman, weighs close to 1,000 tons. Another, discovered only in 2014, is even larger, estimated at around 1,650 tons. Tool marks cover their surfaces, frozen in mid-extraction. There are no visible cracks or flaws that would have made them unusable. There is no evidence of earthquake damage or natural disaster. The work simply stopped. That abrupt abandonment is one of the most unsettling aspects of Baalbek. Whoever was capable of cutting and moving 800-ton stones did not finish these larger ones. The quarry shows no signs of gradual decline or reduced ambition. Tools appear to have been set down as if the workers intended to return the next day and never did. For centuries, the accepted explanation was simple. The Romans built Baalbek. End of discussion. The Temple of Jupiter dates to the 1st century BCE during the reign of Augustus. Rome was asserting imperial power across the region, and Baalbek fit neatly into that narrative. To question Roman authorship of the foundation stones meant questioning the limits of ancient human capability, something many historians were reluctant to do. Yet cracks in that explanation appeared early. In the 1920s, French archaeologist Pierre Montet noted that the Trilithon blocks lacked features typical of Roman stonework. There were no Lewis holes, no lifting sockets, no pivot marks, and no traces of scaffolding consistent with Roman methods. The stones appeared to have been placed in a single, continuous operation using techniques that left almost no archaeological fingerprint. Local traditions also refused to align with the Roman timeline. Families living near Baalbek have passed down stories for generations describing the site as ancient, long before Rome arrived. These stories speak of giants or powerful builders whose names are lost, but whose work remains. Ancient texts, including passages in the Hebrew Bible, refer to the Beqaa region as a land once inhabited by beings of extraordinary size and strength. While such accounts are often dismissed as myth, their persistence over thousands of years raises questions about what they may be preserving in symbolic form. By the mid-20th century, engineers began examining Baalbek independently of traditional archaeology. Their focus was not cultural attribution, but physics. Calculations quickly revealed uncomfortable conclusions. Moving an 800-ton stone using wooden rollers, ropes, levers, and manpower would require forces that exceed the tensile limits of ancient materials. Friction alone becomes overwhelming at that scale. One engineering analysis suggested that even under ideal conditions, more than 40,000 people would need to pull in perfect synchronization just to move a single block horizontally. That does not account for lifting it onto a platform with millimeter-level precision. The math did not merely suggest difficulty, it suggested impossibility. Further complications emerged when researchers examined the stone surfaces in detail. Some tool marks matched bronze and iron chisels, which were known in antiquity. Others did not. Certain cuts displayed a regularity and smoothness that appeared almost mechanical. In some areas, the limestone showed microscopic changes consistent with heat, generated by friction at levels hand tools cannot produce across large surfaces. Geologists added another layer of doubt. Weathering patterns on the Trilithon stones differ significantly from those on the Roman columns above them. Some studies suggest the foundation stones show signs of far longer exposure to the elements, possibly thousands of years more. While stone weathering is not an exact dating method, the discrepancy is large enough to raise serious questions. The site's alignment added to the mystery. Baalbek sits at approximately 34 degrees north latitude. The platform aligns with the rising sun at the spring equinox. Similar astronomical precision appears at sites across the globe, including Giza, Angkor, and other ancient complexes built by cultures assumed to have had no contact with one another. The repetition of these alignments suggests a shared understanding of geometry and astronomy that transcends conventional historical boundaries. For decades, debate remained stalled. Traditionalists defended Roman construction. Revisionists proposed earlier builders, sometimes straying into speculation that damaged serious inquiry. What was missing was comprehensive data. That changed in 2019. The Lebanese Directorate General of Antiquities partnered with the German Archaeological Institute to conduct the most advanced survey Baalbek had ever seen. This was not a traditional excavation. The team deployed LiDAR scanners, ground-penetrating radar, high-resolution 3D imaging, and machine learning algorithms designed to detect patterns beyond human perception. The objective was simple: document everything in exhaustive detail and let the data speak. LiDAR technology fired millions of laser pulses across the stones, capturing three-dimensional models accurate to fractions of a millimeter. Every tool mark, surface variation, and contact point was recorded. The Trilithon blocks, the quarry, and the unfinished megaliths were scanned in their entirety. The resulting dataset was larger than all previous documentation of Baalbek combined. This data was then analyzed by artificial intelligence systems trained on hundreds of ancient construction sites worldwide. The AI had learned to recognize the distinctive signatures left by different tools and techniques. Bronze chisels, iron tools, stone hammers, and modern cutting equipment all leave unique patterns. At Baalbek, the AI detected multiple tool signatures. Some matched known Roman-era techniques. Others did not match anything in the training database. In certain areas, the cutting patterns suggested mechanical regularity and friction-induced heat inconsistent with hand tools. The analysis then shifted to precision. The contact surfaces between the 800-ton blocks deviated from perfect flatness by less than half a millimeter across several square meters. Achieving that tolerance today requires laser-guided equipment and computer modeling. Ancient Rome possessed neither. The research team then tested transportation hypotheses. Using physics simulations, they modeled every known ancient method: wooden rollers, ramps, pulleys, counterweights, and combinations thereof. They allowed generous assumptions about material strength and manpower, even exceeding what ancient populations could realistically supply. The AI ran thousands of simulations. Every one failed. Rollers crushed under the load. Ropes snapped. Ramps collapsed under their own weight. Even simulations involving tens of thousands of workers moving in perfect coordination could not overcome the physical constraints. One anonymous engineer later summarized the outcome bluntly. The model was built to show how it was done, and instead proved that it could not have been done using known ancient technologies. The AI then expanded its scope. Data from more than 40 megalithic sites worldwide was introduced, including Giza, Pumapunku, Göbekli Tepe, Sacsayhuaman, Stonehenge, Karnak, and submerged structures near Yonaguni in Japan. The system was not looking for identical methods, but for deeper patterns in geometry, material choice, alignment, and scale. What emerged was statistically significant and deeply unsettling. Megalithic sites clustered around specific latitudes far more often than chance would allow, particularly around 30 degrees north, 34 degrees north, and the equator. Many sites used stones far larger than structurally necessary, suggesting the choice of scale was deliberate rather than practical. Certain angles appeared repeatedly across unrelated cultures, including Earth's axial tilt and geometric values associated with structural stability and resonance. Most troubling were the age estimates. Using erosion, chemical weathering, lichen growth, and geological context, the AI produced probability ranges that pushed some constructions far earlier than accepted timelines. Portions of Göbekli Tepe appeared potentially older than even its already astonishing official date. The Sphinx returned age estimates consistent with a wetter climate that ended near the close of the last ice age. The Yonaguni structures showed features suggesting construction when sea levels were dramatically lower. For Baalbek, the AI's median estimate for the Trilithon's placement clustered around 9,400 years ago. That date precedes writing, agriculture in the Fertile Crescent, and any known civilization capable of such feats. The pattern grew darker when the data was compared to paleoclimate records. End surges in megalithic construction often appeared shortly before periods of rapid environmental change and societal collapse. Göbekli Tepe was built near the end of the Younger Dryas. Coastal civilizations were submerged as ice sheets melted and sea levels rose. Large-scale building seemed to precede disappearance, not prosperity. Researchers began referring quietly to what they called the Baalbek pattern. Cycles of advanced construction followed by collapse, loss of knowledge, and historical amnesia. Why the builders stopped remains unanswered. One possibility is catastrophe. Around 10,000 years ago, global climate shifted violently. Ice melted, sea levels surged, ecosystems transformed. A civilization capable of such engineering may have been shattered, leaving only fragments behind. Another possibility is more unsettling. The builders may have stopped by choice. Perhaps they reached a threshold where the cost of pushing further outweighed the benefit. Resource depletion, social strain, or environmental damage may have forced a decision to abandon monumental construction altogether. Today, Baalbek exists in a strange tension between ancient capability and motor fragility. Lebanon struggles with basic infrastructure, political instability, and economic collapse. Electricity is unreliable. Resources are scarce. Yet the stones remain, unmoved and indifferent to human circumstance. Local guides speak of them with quiet certainty. The stones were here before Rome, before Christianity, before memory. They will be here after everyone alive today is gone. For the archaeologists and engineers studying Baalbek, there is little triumph in discovery. Each new insight seems to make human history feel not older, but smaller. As one researcher put it, Baalbek feels like working inside a question humanity is not sure it wants answered. The stones do not explain themselves. They do not argue. They simply endure. Perhaps the most important question Baalbek raises is not how it was built, or even who built it, but why. Why push human capability to such extremes? Why carve monuments that defy explanation? Why leave them unfinished, silent, and waiting? The AI did not provide certainty. It provided something more uncomfortable, evidence that our understanding of the past may be incomplete, and that civilizations capable of extraordinary things can vanish, leaving behind stones that outlast memory itself.